time in YouTube, and welcome back to another set list review. Today we are looking over the Steam Siege set. So take a seat, this is going to be a long one. For those of you who aren't aware, I have been out of the TCG for a couple of weeks, not because I wanted to, but because my computer has not been happy with it. But that does not mean that I am not excited for Steam Siege. This is going to be an incredible set with some really cool cards in it. I'm not going to go over everything. I do want to kind of keep it short to kind of just the stuff that you're expecting to hear from. But maybe there'll be a card or two in there that I might like more than somebody else, and I'm going to make a little bit more of a point to bring it out. With that being said, though, I haven't looked too much into the set, so bear with me. And before I begin, I want to give credit to Pokebeach for putting all this together. They do a ton of work putting all of these sets together in a nice, simple, organized fashion so that we all can kind of enjoy it before the actual set releases. So again, kudos to them. Huge shout out because they are incredible. If you haven't checked them out either, make sure to do so. I will leave a link in the description for you guys as well. Anyway, we're going to start off. I'm skipping the first one. Jumpyluff has a cool first attack. Yawning. Sorry. Can't do it. Just started the video. Cannot do it. Jumpyluff. Stage 2. Horrible HP. 90 HP is going to make this card very unplayable. With that being said, Cotton Carry is kind of really cool. It's a Lysander as an attack. One colorless. Switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I think that's really cool. It's also got Solar Steps, 20 damage. This attack does 20 more damage times the number of your remaining prize cards. So it can do 120 at the start and then deplete, which is, you know what, at the start of a game, 120 damage isn't that bad for one grass energy. But considering the fact that Hoppip is a 40 HP mon and Skiploom is a 70 HP mon, you're not making it very long. Like, there's really no point in running at. I just thought the Cotton Carry was kind of cool. Here is our first big mon, though, that we really need to take a look at. And it is Yanmega. Yanmega is the Grass-type Pokemon, 110 HP, so not too bulky yet. Stage 1, ability is Sonic Vision. I want you to listen to this carefully. If I've got 4 cards in hand, I can ignore all energy costs in the attacks of this Pokemon. And he has free retreat anyway. So that means that Assault Boom, which is a 3 colorless energy cost, that does 50 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon tool card attached to it, it can do 70 more. So we have a potential to do 120 damage for free. I want to specify, for free. So we already have Judge that just recently came out in Breakthrough. Best supporter for this deck. I can keep my opponent down in cards. I can keep myself able to attack for free. And it's colorless, so I can do whatever I want. This card's going to be great. I can even go with the Force of Giant Plants to get this thing turn 1, turn 2. I just want to point out that Yanma actually has the Scout attack. Your opponent reveals his or her hand, so if I really want to see what my opponent is doing, I can do that as well. But, of course, Yanma is not just all pretty. It's got the Yanmega Break as well. 140 HP Grass-type Pokemon, obviously. And it gets Penetrate. 3 colorless energy. But because of Sonic Vision, this could also be 0 costing, which is really good. So it gives us another attack that, you know what, I didn't get 4 cards in it, my opponent doesn't have an item card on it, I can at least do 100 to you. And it's not affected by weakness, resistance, or any other effects on the opponent's Pokemon. So things like, I don't know, if he was an EX, Resistance Blizzard, I still think it goes through Jolteon, and, well, he goes through Jolteon, he wouldn't go through Glaceon EX, so he could go through Glaceon EX, he can go through Aegislash, so I think this card's amazing, super hyped to try it out. This is definitely going to be one of the first cards I want to play, and it's one of the few decks I think that you could probably run Headringer Nope, Headringer's gone out of standard, so it doesn't matter. But it was things like, I think this was one of the few decks that probably could have ran that pretty well. Just saying. With this set, it brought back dual type Pokemon. So Shiftry is the first one that we're going to be looking at. Shiftry is the grass and dark type Pokemon, 140 HP, stage 2, has Wicked Wind, 40 damage until the end of your opponent's next turn. Each stadium or Pokemon tool card in play has no effect. So it could get, say, Parallel City to give you back your additional card drop so you can play that Shaymin for a turn. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Well, sorry, it forces things. Wait. Well, maybe better for like Scorched Earth, where they can't use. No, I can still use parallel. No, I'm attacking. Huh. I have to look into that. Pretty much think of it as like Scorched Earth. You know your opponent needs it. You shut it off for a turn. Great. And if I get to attack again, I can continue to shut that stuff off. The big one will probably be for like fighting Fairy Belt, where it shuts it down and there's not a whole lot it can do. Even Spirit Links, that'll be incredible. Again, 1 grass energy, that's not a terrible attack. It's hard that it's a stage 2 though. It's also got extra sensory for 2 colorless, 60 damage. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, the stack does 60 more. So a big 120 mark right there. Still doesn't even knock out a Shiftry, so I don't know. I don't like that. I'd only use it for Wicked Wind, and even then, using a stage 2 for just that, not that great. We have Fungus, who's got an incredible ability, but not incredible at the same time. It has Play Ball. When you play, I'm just gonna let it out. Sorry, 1 sec. It didn't yawn, but hopefully that'll be enough. It has the ability Play Ball. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may put 3 Pokeballs cards from your discard pile into your hand. They do not mean Ultra Ball. They do not mean Dive Ball. They specifically mean Pokeball. This card would have been really cool. A cool, like, no need for a Fungus. Just go with Fungus if they had the ability to do any type of ball. But it's just Pokeball, and this is cool in a theme deck, but not good in play. So unfortunately, Fungus, your ability is just not that great. And you've only got 40 HP, so meh. Amoonguss HP doesn't even go that high, considering Amoonguss in the actual game is pretty fat. He's not that fat in the card game. He's got Noisy Spore. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now Poison and Confused, which is kind of cool. It's also got Mysterious Reaction, 30 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is confused, it is now also paralyzed. So we have the ability to get like 3 status effects on this active Pokemon. But things like Zoroark currently live in standard, and that just doesn't. It's not going to do enough. I don't think having the ability to have someone else bring in, retreat, do all that stuff, I don't think that's going to play off too well. But we'll see. Our next dual color Pokemon is Volcarona, Grass Fire. And I just want to say that that card looks awesome. I also forgot to mention that in these cards, they are the shiny form of the Pokemon and not the regular coloring. So I think the artwork on this one looks awesome. It just looks just amazing. I do want to get this card when it comes out. Maybe not for play, but I want it in my collection binder. Anyway, we're going to look over it real quick. For 1 grass energy, we can use Blazing Scales. Here we go. Had to come out eventually. Anyway, Blazing Scales, 20 damage, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So I'm guaranteed a special condition, which is nice. It also says Power Hurricane for 3 colorless, 120 damage, discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. So at least I can use Burning Energy for that, but competitive-wise, again, 120 seems to be a huge factor for these cards lately. Like all the grass cards that are in the set that I went over, 120, 120, 120. Guys, an EX has 180. We're not knocking anything out unless we can get up to those points. 2-hit KOs are great, but it's not enough to do it these days. But we'll see. I'm still new to the TCG. I'm not the best, so I might be wrong. But that's just my thought. Next up, we see a Rapidash, Infernape is a cool card. How playable? I don't know. But it continues the thing of 120 damage. For 2 fire energies, Flare Blitz will do 120 damage, and you discard all your fire energies. So, unfortunately, you discard some stuff. But you also have Flare Up. 2 fire energies. 200 damage. Now that is what I'm talking about! There's a downside. If you have fewer than 10 fire energy cards in your discard pile, this attack does nothing. And you have to shuffle 10 fire energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck if you use the attack. What? So not only... Now let's talk this over. We can do 200 damage guaranteed if I have 10 fire energies in the discard. But I gotta put them back. I don't have Battle Compressor anymore. I'm talking standard here, guys. I'm talking standard. Do not have Battle Compressor, so I cannot get them into the discard. I can use Typhlosion to do this, but that would be 2 stage 2s to do this. Why? I don't know. We'll see. I am sure someone will come up with an incredible way of playing this. I just don't see it. You can attach to... wow. I'm getting bad at this. Hold on 1 second. Alright guys, I am sorry about that. I am falling asleep here, and I don't mean for this. This is exciting content for me. It's just been a long day, and I'm sorry guys. I hate doing that to you guys. Anyway, talking about Infernape. Again, I'm sure someone will come out with a great deck for this, but I don't see it. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to move on though. We have Talonflame Break. Now this, slap on a muscle band, maybe give it, I don't know, something cool, but it is going to be able to do some cool things. You can give it the burning energy, which is nice, and it will wreck. 150 damage is nothing to laugh at, especially because it's not an EX attacker. And what makes this thing really fast is another card that we're going to get to in a little bit. But for now, just remember that it's 150 damage, technically a stage 3. So, but 170 HP is really good. Really good. I mean, like, really good. Anyway, moving on, we have another powerhouse fire type coming through. We have Pyroar, the stage 1, and he's got a pretty interesting main this time. He's got Flame Charge, 1 fire, 1 colorless, 60 damage, search your deck for a fire energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So, that means I can get into my next attack pretty quickly, which is Incinerate, 90 damage. Before doing damage, discard all Pokemon cards, Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So we can get rid of a Hard Charm, a Fighting Fury Belt before we even attack it. That is cool. I do like this. Again, it's not a lot of damage, but it's got some pretty cool text. But what it does have is a break card. Pyroar Break looks incredible. I know I spoil it every time by rolling up too quick, but Pyroar Break is amazing. Kaiser Tackle, 180 damage. This Pokemon does 50 damage to itself. Yes, it takes away the longevity, but finally we have a Pokemon that doesn't have well, how do I put it? It doesn't have weird mechanics to get me up to that stage. Kaiser Tackle for 2 fire energy and 1 colorless is going to do 180 damage. Again, put a muscle band on it, or we're going to be able to do some damage to those megas too. This is a great card. Great card. And there's obviously ways to heal. So there's that. Next up is the mascot of the set, Volcanion. has 130 HP, basic type Pokemon, power heater for 1 fire energy, 20 damage. Choose 2 of your benched Pokemon, attach a fire energy from your discard pile to each of them. This kind of works cool with Typhlosion, but at the same point Typhlosion doesn't need help. And without Battle Compressor, in Standard, we can't get that energy into the discard pile guaranteed. So we'll see how that works. It does have Explosive Flame as well for 3 fire energies, 100 damage. Kind of a typical thing for these legendary Pokemon. They're not amazing, but you know what is amazing? Volcanion Dx, and I didn't scroll down far enough to let you guys see the whole thing this time. Oh yeah. Volcanion Dx is the 180 fire and water type Pokemon. It has the ability Steam Siege, or Steam Up. Once during your turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. If you do, during your turn, your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. This is technically a way to get your energy into the discard for Infernape, but the ability doesn't work for Infernape. Meh. It does work with the Volcanion though, that I just mentioned. So Power Heater can do 50 damage now as you discard the 2 energies. Say you've got 2 Volcanion EX up, you can discard the 2 energies from this guy, or these guys, power up Volcanion, and put the energies on something else. Cool. Gotcha. It's also going to tackle Volcanic Heat, 2 fire energies, 1 colorless, 130 damage. This Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn. It's not a great attack, but he is meant to be a support mon. Next up is Mantine. We can pass. I don't care about that card at all. We've got Gastrodon. Kind of can pass on it. Samurott. I guess I can go over it since it is a stage 2. 140 HP. Evolsum Duat. It has for 1 water, 1 colorless, perfect blade. 40 damage if your opponent's active Pokemon would be under 60 HP after using this attack. Your opponent's active is knocked out instead. So if I can just get it down just a little bit more than necessary, I can get it knocked out. If it's got 100 HP, and if it's got 90 HP, I can knock it out. Great. It's got Long Spear too, which is a great. It does for 2 water energy, colorless. 2 tongue tied. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Tongue tied. 2 water energy, 1 colorless. Long Spear is going to do 90 damage. This attack does 30 more to one of your opponent's bench, which is cool. Sets up for Perfect Blade. Done. Okay. I don't care for the high water or the high energy costs. I don't know how well it's going to play out. Water's not the fastest to get a stage 2 out. We'll see. This is a card though that I am very excited for. We have Clawitzer with the ability Mega Boost. Once during your turn, you may attach a special energy card from your hand to one of your Mega Pokemon. This is something that Mega Pokemon desperately needed because Mega Pokemon are slow. The other thing too is he's got a break. Clawitzer Break gets a lock on. First off, he gets 30 more HP, which ain't much. He's got 130 HP, big deal. But he gets lock on. So I still get the ability, once during my turn, I can attach a special energy card from my hand to my Mega Pokemon. So I can get, say, 2 double colorless energies on a Mega Pokemon. Great! Or 2 double dragons. Even better! But I can also go for a lock-on. Now, if Clawitzer Break goes down, that is alright, because the lock-on attack transfers on to my next Pokemon. Which means, during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. During your next turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 120 more damage to the defending Pokemon. This doesn't work if my opponent has a Zoroark. They can just switch, and the attack does nothing. But if they stay in, remember that Perfect Blade on a Samurott? That's not doing 120 damage. Slap a Muscle Band on it. 140. What are most of EX's HPs? 180. Well, I just did 140. I can knock them out now. Now, mind you, I am using 2 stage 2s technically. Klutzer, Break, and Oshawott, Duat, Samurott. It's not gonna work, but you can do it. You can do it. Avalugg we can kind of go over. We have Ampharos, which has a stellar artwork. I love that kind of cutesy, midnight feely background it's got. It's amazing. Its ability is Shocking Light. Once during your turn, you may choose one of your opponent's Pokemon EX and put 3 damage counters on it. No, nothing happening. I can just set this guy up on the bench, and my opponent's EXs are going to start taking damage, which is cool. And if he's in the active and needing to attack, he's got Gigabolt. For 2 lightning energy, 1 colorless, he's going to do 80 damage. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 40 more damage. And if tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed. So, it's either 120. Seriously? 120 is everywhere. Everywhere! Or you're going to paralyze. Cool. Our next double-colored Pokemon is the Galvantula with Lightning and Grass as its type. So it's got 90 HP, so it's very fragile. It's got Double Threat. This attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Also apply weakness and resistance for bench, which is kind of cool. So if my opponent's playing, say, a flying deck and I happen to hit them with electricity, I get some extra damage, which is cool. On both the active and the other one. Well, it doesn't have to be active. It's also got Electro Web that does 30 to the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. No thanks. I'm not looking too hot for these double-colored Pokemon play-wise. They're not that great yet, but we'll see how well they do. Next up, I'm always hyped for Neato King. Neato King is one of the best Pokemon in the game, in my opinion. Maybe not competitively, maybe not anything, but come on, he's the king of the jungle, king of the realm. He is the king of all Pokemon. Don't worry, Arceus, you're the god of all Pokemon, I know that. But he's got King's Palace. He partners up with the Primal Clash Nidoqueen. Your Nidoqueen's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. It's also got Power Lariat, 60 damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each evolution Pokemon on your bench. So, if I have all my Pokemon evolved, we're talking a bench of 5. That's 150 on top of the 60. So we're doing 210 damage. That's insane. There's a lot of work involved to get there. But that's insane. Let's be honest here. There's a lot of stuff that could easily be, you know, evolve this, evolve this, evolve this, evolve this. We have tons of evolution possibilities. It could be even just Nidorinos. Done. We'll see this. I'm hoping this card gets some play. I do. I think it'll be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to building this. I think throw in Octillery, maybe some of the Nidoqueen line to get some extra boost. If you're not playing Standard, you can run Dimension Valley and make that a 2-costing attack. Cool. We'll see how it goes. Next up, we have Drifblim. Don't care. Chandelure. Sinister Selection. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand, discard the other. So it has Acrobike on the card. Cool. Problem is, it's a stage 2 to get that ability. It also has Past Friends, 10 damage. The stack does 10 more damage for each supporter card in your discard pile. We all play a lot of discarders, We all play a lot of discarders? No, we all play a lot of supporters, yes. But not enough to probably make this thing worth attacking with. So we'll see. Next up is Hoopa. I bring this card up because it is the other... There's 2 theme decks. Volcanion and Hoopa are the 2. So I'm going to look over what I am going to play in the theme deck corner episodes that are coming with these. We have Dimension Punch. Sorry, he's 130 HP Psychic type Pokemon. His Dimension Punch is his first attack. 1 colorless energy is all it costs. Choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to each of them. So that's kind of cool. I get 40 damage worth of damage out of 1 colorless energy. Not bad. And it could be to whatever Pokemon I want. So if they're in range of being knocked out, I can do that. It's also got for 3 Psychic Energy, Sinkhole. 130 damage. This Pokemon can't use Sinkhole on your next turn. Fine. I can handle that. It's pretty nice. Because even if they want to retreat, I can still hit them. So it's not bad. We have Primeape, not great. We have Probopass, not great. Armaldo, they're trying to do fossils, and I don't agree with them. I'm just gonna pass. We have Toxicroak, which is kind of cool. But first I want to go over Croagunk, because as far as I know, this attack is incredible. First off, it's got 60 HP, not a lot, but it has better poison, 1 colorless energy. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, put 3 more damage counters on that Pokemon between turns. This effect stacks. So, turn 1, I have Ariados out. Force the poison. Now, better poison is going to put 3 more damage counters on it. So that's 4 damage counters. 4. If Croagunk doesn't go down, I can put 3 more on. In between turns, it's taking a lot of damage. Croagunk, you're cool. I really like you. I don't know how playable you're going to be, but you're really cool. Toxicroak, though, has the ability Poisonous Enzyme. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, this Pokemon can't be affected by damage from attacks. That's so cool. I think Toxicroak's going to be awesome. I hope. He has Poison Jab, 50 damage from the coin if heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. We're going to use Ariados to get that poison. Yes, I might get poisoned myself, but we can do it. We have Weavile, who's got Rip Off. As often as you like during your turn, you may take a Pokemon tool card attached to one of your Pokemon and return to your hand. So it gives you the ability to kind of swap up, like Mcginty X had in the last one, but now it's for all your Pokemon. Kind of cool. Weavile's only got 90 HP, so it's not going to last too long if it's in the front. It's a cool tech. It's a cool tech. Depending on the deck you're running, it's a cool tech. We have Spiritomb. Nightmare, 10 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. Play with wounds. Move the damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon to your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. So it could technically stack up with, say, that Hoopa, if I hit the bench, but it's just okay. Our next double colored is Bisharp. It's a dark metal Pokemon. I call it Dark Steel. Sorry. 100 HP. Has Retaliate, 1 colorless, 30 damage. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out, this attack is going to do 60 more. So we have the ability to do 90 for 1 colorless, which is really good. We also have Mac Claw for 60. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Again, not playable. Druddigon and Stunfisk were a lot better because they were basics. Having Retaliate on stage 1 is a lot more work, so I don't like it. We have the good old baby Yveltal returning to us in standard format. We have Yveltal Darkness Pokemon, 130 HP. Has Oblivion Wing, 30 damage. Attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, which is always nice. And it's got Darkness Blade, 1 Darkness Energy, 2 colors. It's going to do 100 damage. Flip a coin if tails. Your Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. I'm running out of steam. In Steam Siege. Get that one. But what's brand new is he got a Break evolution. We have for 3 Dark Energy, Baleful Night. 120 damage. Really? Really? This attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. So, we need to find a way to get damage counters onto our our opponent's bench Pokemon. Pretty easy. Well, we can do it. Baleful Night will do 120 to the active, and then 30 to everybody else. But what's really cool there is Spiritomb has Play with Wounds. Move all the damage counters around, and you can put it on your opponent's active. You can do a lot of things with it. You can knock out things like that. Done. Cool. Unfortunately, it's not an ability, so you do have to attack with it. We have Steelix EX and Mega Steelix EX. I'll go over Steelix EX first. It has Wild Edge, 1 Metal Energy, 3 colorless. Has 80 damage. You may do 50 more, and if you do, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. Okay. Also has Iron Tail, 1 Metal, 4 colorless. That is a steep energy cost. Is it worth it? 100 damage for coin flips. Flip a coin until he gets tails. This attack does 100 damage times the number of heads. It's not worth it. First off, I have to accumulate 5 energy, which, okay, I'll bite you. Two double colorless energies. There you go. There's the 4. 1 energy. So right now I'm looking at 3 turns. Does not benefit from Klefki because Klefki does it only for Megas, so it doesn't work. I don't know. You can use Bronzong, which is cool. Yes. But I think Bronzong is rotating out of Standard, so we're losing that too. I don't know how that's going to play out in Standard. Mega Steelix EX, though, is kind of cool. It benefits from the Fighting Stab because it's a Metal Fighting type. It has Canyon Axe, 1 Metal, 4 colorless as well. Why these steep costs? I don't know. It has 160 damage. Does 10 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That's cool. Kind of partners up with the Untitled Break. But the energies are kind of out of control. So we'll see how that works. We'll see how it plays. Next up is Shieldon Bastiodon. More fossils that don't matter. Kling Clang, Kling Clank. I guess we can look over this. It's got an ability. I'm kind of interested. Ability Heavy Bumper. Reduce all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks by 10 for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon. In your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So, if our opponent is heavy, we reduce 10 damage from each of that. Kind of cool. Gear Spinner. Does 70 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon's Gear Spinner attack does 70 more. So we have the ability to do 140, Muscle Band, 160. It's alright. Better than some things. You can at least knock a fellow Kling Clang. Great. We have Cobalion, Metal type Pokemon, 130 HP. It's a basic. It has Fast Guard, 1 Metal Energy. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by the attacks of your opponent's basic Pokemon. Cool. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't use Fast Guard. Think of it as Protect in the main game. You can use it once, and then not the following. Cool. Unless you're really lucky and you get a double Protect. Can't do that with card game, though. It has Revenge Burst, 2 Metal Energies. It does 30 damage, and it's going to do 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So, if we're currently losing, and for some reason they've gotten down to 5, this will do 180 damage for 2 energy. That's pretty good. I gotta give Cobalion some props here. That is pretty good. This is definitely a card that you could put in any kind of metal deck and have a non-EX attacker. It also gives you the ability to protect, kind of wait out turns. Say, for example, you were playing against Kling Clang. No, couldn't do it against Kling Clang because Kling Clang is not a basic. But it can kind of stall out things like Jolteon, things like that. It's kind of cool. I think this thing could actually counter Jolteon. Interesting. Next up is Mcginty X, the new Pokemon from 7th Gen that has already got a pretty card. It has the ability Mystic Heart. First off, it's a Steel type, 160 HP. Cool. Mystic Heart is the ability that prevents all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any metal energy attached to it. So, they cannot be statused. They can't be affected by Regice. They can't be affected by Jolteon, I don't think. But it's pretty cool. It has Soul Blaster as well for 1 metal, 2 colors. It's going to do 120 damage. Really? During your next turn, this Pokemon Soul Blaster attacks base damage is 60. That's not good. So in other words, I can't use Mcginty as my main attacker. I can get 120 off and then 60. 120 off and then 60. Think of it as a reverse superior. But for 2 more energy. I don't know. It's obviously meant for the Mystic Heart ability, which is cool. We have our next double color, which is a Azumarill Fairy Water. Has Play Rough for 30 damage for the coin of heads. This attack does 30 more damage. And it has Bubble Drain for 2 Fairy Energy, 1 colorless. We are going to do 80 damage and heal 30 from this Pokemon. It's got 100 HP. It's not going to live long. Do not make a deck around this. It's not very good. At least I don't think. Remember, I am the newbie. I'm just reading the content for you guys. Okay. Gardevoir EX. I know we've seen a lot of them, but finally there's something new. It's got new attacks, it's got new skills, it's kind of cool. It's not just a carbon copy of the same one we've had 2-3 times over now. Alright, so Gardevoir EX. It has Link Blast for 1 fairy, 1 colorless. It's going to do 30 damage. If this Pokemon is your opponent, if this Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon have the same amount of energies attached to them, this attack does 30 more damage. So early in the game, if you know we're setting up early and I get the same amount as you, 100 damage. That's not bad. It's also got Luminous Blade, 2 fairy, 1 colorless, 120 damage. Discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. So that's not very. It's not very fairy, but you know what? Neither is Mega Gardevoir EX. Look at that beauty. That card is gorgeous. It is a Psychic Fairy. Has Despair Ray. This girl is out to knock things out. For 2 energy, 1 fairy, 1 colorless, we're going to do 110 damage. Discard as many bench Pokemon as you like, of your own. This attack does 10 more damage for each bench Pokemon discarded this way. Now, do I know of a set that can do that? No. I apologize, guys. I do not have a way to figure out how to get these cards back. In Extended, I'd say use the Execute with Propagation. You can put them all onto your bench, discard them, redraw them on the next turn, discard them again. That'll be another 40 damage. You can discard your Shaymins, your Hoopas, anything you need to get rid of. You can do that. You can throw a Muscle Band on this thing to get up to the 130, so you only need to do... I don't know how easy it will be to get to 180 consistently, but you should be able to do it. I think this card will be pretty cool. I don't know how Standard will play it, but we'll see. Now, this is a long-winded card. I like it, but bear with me on this one. Klefki is the Fairy-type Pokemon with the ability Wonderlock. I love Wonderlocks in the game. Well, I love Wonderlock in the card game. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may discard all cards attached to this Pokemon and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a Pokemon Tool card. That's neat. That's new. I've seen it in Magic the Gathering, but I have not seen it in Pokemon yet, so that's cool. Prevent any damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon. If this card is attached to a Pokemon, discard this card at the end of your opponent's next turn. So you have to get rid of it. This card is great to put on the bench for Mega Gardevoir. If I'm playing, say, fellow other Megas, I can use this as a protection shield. Have to discard it afterwards. I don't get the bonus for the extra damage, but I can protect myself. That's cool. How it will work in this format is going to be really tricky. I really like its ability. I think it's really fun. It'll be neat to see what it does. Next up is Xerneas. It's the exact same Xerneas we had in X and Y. For 1 Fairy Energy, we have the Geomancy. Choose 2 of your bench Pokemon. For each of those, search your deck for a Fairy Energy and attach it to them. Shuffle your deck afterwards. We also have Rainbow Spear, 2 Fairy Energies, 1 colorless, is going to do 100 damage, and discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. Cool. But, like Yveltal, we have a Xerneas Break, and I think this card is so cool. Xerneas Break gives it 20 more HP, so not a whole lot. But it has Life Stream now. 2 Fairy Energy, 20 damage times. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Through Xerneas, you're pulling energy out all the time through Geomancy. All the time. Throwing energy down. You can go with max elixirs, get things like that going. Getting everything going on that bench And then Xerneas Break can go for a 2 energy cost attack and just go, yeah, I gotcha. So I think it's cool. You could also pair it with, say, Florges, I think, that has the one where it can reduce the fairy energy costs. So we'll see how that goes. Next up is Druddigon, which we're going to pass. Our next break Pokemon is going to be Hydreigon. Our base form is 150 HP, Ruthless Bite, 2 colorless energy, 40 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the attacks of the defending Pokemon do 40 less. So we take less damage, that is always good. It also has Dark Burn, 1 Psychic, 1 Dark, 1 colorless. It's going to do 50 damage times, whereas you may discard as many dark energies attached to this Pokemon as you like. If you do 50 damage for each dark energy removed. Yveltal needs this guy going. But the Hydreigon Break, first off, the artwork is incredible. I don't care if this card's going to be playable. This card looks amazing. I love the breaks in the set. Keep them coming. I really love breaks. In this one particular, it has Calamity Blast. 1 Psychic, 2 Dark, 1 colorless, 150 damage. Choose 3 energies attached to this Pokemon and discard them. Choose 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage to each of them. So we're getting 250 damage worth of damage out of this guy. 150 to the active, and then 50 damage to 2 of our opponent's benched Pokemon. That's a lot of damage. Considering the fact that, you know, some of them haven't been prepped up, maybe you can get a weak knockout. And you got Spiritomb. You can put it all onto one guy too. You never know. Unfortunately, you do have to do the discarding of the energies. Next up is going to be not Meowth. I'm having a hard time believing they keep putting Meowth. There's more Meowth recently in Standard than there are Pikachu. Take a note on that. We have Persian. We have Ambipom. We have Braviary. Now, I'm going to skip Fletchling. I'm going to skip Fletchinder. Don't care about them. Don't care about them all. What I care about is Talonflame. Talonflame, Stage 2. Ability is Gale Wings. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you are setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. This means I have a Stage 1 Talonflame Break. So if I'm building Talonflame Break, I can go into this for free. The only downside is I can't play any other Pokemon. So you have to play around that. Anyway, we have Aeroblitz as this guy's only attack. For 1 colorless energy, we can do 40 damage, search your deck for up to 2 cards, and put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. This is good. Really good, in fact. But with N in Standard, it really hurts. Because you're not guaranteed to have those cards at the end of your turn. Especially if you're going first. Well, if you're attacking first, you might not get them on the next turn. So we'll see. Hawlucha's got a really cool ability. It's got Sun Cyclone. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may have your opponent switch his or her active with one of his or her benched. That's cool. It's got Acrobatics, 20 damage. That's not worthwhile. We're getting into the trainers. We're almost there, guys. I'm sorry if this is boring you guys out, but we're finally getting there. Trainers are usually the best part because we can kind of see what new tricks and things we're about to see in Standard. Armor Fossil Shieldon is not one of them. I don't care if you're a fossil. Fossil Researcher should not have just been for Tyrant and for Amora. Fossil Researcher should have been for any fossil, period. I think Amistar Break would have been so much more playable in that regard. It's going to kill the 2 that just came out with this one. So, yeah. Next up, I'm going to go into Captivating Pokepuff, which is really cool. Your opponent reveals his or her hand. Put in any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. Their abilities do not go off. At least that's what I've read. If I'm wrong, please comment. That way I'm clear for judge reasons. But as far as I know, if my opponent has a Shaymin in hand or a Hoopa in hand, and I am playing them, their abilities don't go off. It's my turn, it's not yours. It's a cool item. Not to mention it forces to use their bench up. If I have a easy way to knock them out, I can grab those cards. Thank you. You just gotta take it into consideration. This card would also help out the Lucario from Fates Collide. Your opponent, if your opponent sees that Lucario, let's be honest, you're going to hold on to your Pokemon and not use it, so that the damage doesn't go up. Well, with Captivating Pokepuff, I can get all those Pokemon onto their bench, and we're good to go. We'll see how it plays. I think it's a cool item. Regardless, I think it's a cool item. Claw Fossil and Earth, not so cool. We have a Gardevoir Spirit Link getting reprinted. Greedy Die. Or Dice. I don't like it. That doesn't mean it's bad, but it's very gimmicky. It's not a competitive card in the slightest. Pretty much, you can play this card only if you take a face down prize before you put it in your hand. Before you put it in your hand, flip a coin. If heads, take an additional prize card. First off, it has to be in my prizes. It has to be in my prizes. Second, it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. So not only do I have to have it in one of those 6 cards that I have to win to move into my game, it means nothing if it's in my regular deck. If it's in my deck, I don't want it. It's a useless card, just ditch it. That's not good for competitive. Right there. Useless card, no thanks. I have to guarantee that it's in my 6 prizes. And then, if I manage to pull it, I have to flip a coin? That is not a good card, guys. Just, that's my opinion. It's not a good card. Fun? Gimmicky? Yes. Not a good card. What is a good card is Ninja Boy. This supporter is going to be awesome. We're going to take a quick look at Shaymin. Shaymin is not a good lead card. In fact, it's a terrible lead card. I don't get my ability to go off. I am not a very powerful mon. I can do 30 damage. And to be honest with you, I don't want to waste my turn setting that card up. Well, with Ninja Boy, you don't have to worry anymore. Pretty much you get to choose Shaymin. We're going to use Shaymin as the idea. We get to choose Shaymin. Search your deck for another basic Pokemon and switch it with that card. So if I'm, say, running, I don't know, Gyarados EX, switch it with Gyarados. But last turn, I attached a Fighting Fury Belt, or Muscle Band, or Spirit Link, to Shaymin, and I slipped it a double colorless energy. Well, those cards don't go away. No, those all get attached to Gyarados. So, that's kind of cool. And Shaymin doesn't go into the discard pile. It gets put back into your deck. The other benefit to that too is if, say, for example, I'm playing Froakie, I can still evolve Shaymin the turn. So as long as Shaymin's been out for a turn, and Ninja Boy gets played the following turn, Shaymin's turn count counts for Froakie. So it's cool. I love that card. I want to see it do well. I'm expecting some cool decks out of that. So keep your eye out for that. Pokemon Ranger is another really good one. Remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. Seismitoads cancel out. Jolteons cancel out. Regice cancel out. This card is going to help a ton of people get around some of those blockades. I do believe this will stop a Hexmaniac. Comment and tell me if I'm wrong. I think it stops Giratina. I think it stops Gardevoir. It's a cool card. It's really cool. Another one is Special Charge. This is something that we've needed for a long time, and that is shuffle 2 special energies from your discard pile into your deck. For those people that love double colorless energy, this is going to be a card that just brings them back. Usually, in current game, if you lose a double colorless energy, that is huge because you only get 4. Well, now I have quite a bit. I have the opportunity to get what? Pretty much double, so 16. So 4, 8, no, 12. I'm sorry, my math's bad. But still, Special Charge is a really cool item. I don't know how much it's going to be in specific decks. It's like, I want to put it as like a tool for like Super Rod and stuff. You run one of just because you could, but I think this card is going to see some play. It'll see some play depending on the deck. Next up is Steelix, Spirit Link, and that is it for the cards. Now, I'm going to quickly go over full arts and my favorites. I'll pick one of the regulars and then one secret rare, because there's two. Before I get there though, let me know what you guys have as your favorite full art. What is your hunt card? Most collectors, because I'm a collector primarily, have that hunt card that they're looking for in a set. And I'm no different. I'll tell you what I want after, but let me know what you guys want. I want to see what you guys are all interested in. What is your biggest card that you're after? You can tell me if it's, which of the two secret rares, which of all the full arts, if it's even a regular card, just let me know. But anyway, Volcanion. Let's see. That card looks stunning. They did quite a bit of work to get it, still a little bit of emotion in it, but not... It's not my favorite. It's still a really nice looking card, though. The colors are fantastic. We have Steelix. It's a Steelix. It's not my favorite, but I think it looks awesome. Mega Steelix looks pretty cool. That giant axe going through it looks pretty cool. Magearna looks gorgeous. Look at those colors. Look at her eyes. They just gleam right into you. She's incredible. We have the full art Gardevoir. Not too different from the previous one, but just enough to make it look fresh. It's still simplistic, and I love the gold around it, so I like it. She just looks menacing. I'm just going to say, do not get on her bad side, because she is going to punish you. We have the Pokemon Rangers, which is a really cool supporter one. And our final one is Sycamore. Sycamore I've been waiting for a very long time. Very happy that the promotional one made it into Steam Siege. I had not a dispute, but I had a bit of a guessing game with a friend of mine. And we were wondering if it was going to be in this set or the next one. And for me, I'm stoked that it's in this one. So it's good to see it. Out of these standard art ones, to be honest with you, I think my hunt is going to be for Magearna. Magearna's got that whole array of colors. It's just so shiny. It's so cute. It's so nice. And then my second one would probably be Volcanion. I'm not too hyped on the full arts in this one. I'm obviously going to be looking for both of the full art supporters. Now, here are the secret rares. This guy looks fantastic, and Xerneas just fits so well in it. And then you've got the darkness that is Yveltal and Gardevoir. They've put so much effort into making this look evil, yet still kid friendly. Out of the two, to be honest with you, I love both of them. I want both in my collection, but let's be honest here, the secret rares, you always do. I'm actually going to go with Volcanion here, and it's primarily because it's so colorful. It's got so much going for it, and I'm not a dark-spirited person, so I'm interested to see how it goes. But like I said, I want both. Like, this one is also fantastic. Yveltal, I'm sorry players, but I want Yveltal in the Pokemon games. Yveltal was just so much better, in my opinion. And yes, it's dark. I just kind of wish it wasn't Gardevoir. I love Gardevoir. It's just not my favorite Pokemon. I guess I'm a little sick of it. So that is another thing as well. Volcanion is fresh. He's not even in the video games yet in North America. And it's just something cool to look at. So that is Steam Siege. I hope you guys, if you made it actually all the way to the end of this video, hashtag your favorite. No. Let's see. Hashtag Volcanion. If you made it all the way here, hashtag Volcanion. And let me know if you actually made it. And again, let me know your favorite cards, what you're expecting from the set. What are your hopes? What are your dreams for the set? What it's going to do? And I'm going to catch you guys on the next set review. I know this was long. It was drawn out. I went through a lot of cards, but I did say it was a big set. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys with more TCG content coming very soon. Next two will either be Deck Wizards or the two Theme Deck Corners. I don't know which yet. but please, just keep an eye on, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, time out.